What is going on, you guys? AK40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. Today we're taking a look at the Pulse 3D, which is Sony's first party in-house headset that is specifically designed to work with the new audio engine on board the PlayStation 5 to truly accentuate all the features of that console. I did just review Microsoft's exclusive headset specifically for the Series S and X, and now it's Sony's turn. Comparison between these bad boys coming soon. Without further ado, guys, let's break into Sony's Pulse 3D headset and see if it makes the PS5's audio shine. Alrighty guys, over here at the Stormtrooper desktop, if you're new to the channel, this is where we do our unboxings, custom controller and PC builds, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So, breaking into the box here, this headset does retail for $100, just like Microsoft's offering, which I have to say, $100 is kind of the sweet spot into a good entry-level headphone. Anything below that seems to have subpar quality in my experience, and then anything above that kind of really steps away from the $100 price point and starts to show some flagship features. So, aesthetics of the box, obviously you're going to have a ton of Sony Blue on there, and it is fine-tuned for 3D audio on PS5 consoles. So this is designed specifically to work with the new audio drivers inside of the PlayStation 5 to truly accentuate the sound. So we will see how the software accentuates the hardware here. So as far as the packaging, it's nothing too crazy. The headphones sit in this little cardboard cradle here, and then in this little tray right here, you have your documentation. You have a quick start guide, which does have some Sony Blue branding on there. Other than that, no color, but it has pictures, good font, English is the primary language, opens up like a little pamphlet, and shows you how to charge and pair these bad boys. Then you also have a safety and support guide, basically explaining not to use this as a frisbee, not to snack on the sides of the microphone or anything like that. And then the actual headset itself, which is wrapped in this little protective wrapping here. Nothing crazy, you're not getting any kind of memory foam. You're not getting any kind of microfiber carrying case or anything like that. Dongle for pairing to the PS5 and PS4, and I'm also going to test this on PC as well, because if this works with PC, that is absolutely awesome, considering most $100 headsets, including that Microsoft headset I just tested, requires you to buy a $25 dongle if you want to make a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz connection. Yes, a lot of these headsets do support Bluetooth as well, but you don't ever want to use Bluetooth for gaming, whether it's a controller, a headset, keyboard, mouse. There is noticeable lag, latency, and delay, and it is just a far less superior mode of wireless data transfer than a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz connection through something like a dongle. So do not use Bluetooth. Technically only use Bluetooth for pairing to your cell phone to take a call or listen to music. So you have a pretty good length, I'd say about 5-foot USB-C cable, which is awesome. The Microsoft headset came with like a 1 or a 2-foot, so this is kind of nice, not braided or microfiber or anything like that, just a typical rubberized USB-C cable, but it's good to see there's a little bit of length on it. Now as for the actual headset itself, I will say, aesthetically, it looks pretty good. It's very sleek, very modern, and this also does go hand in hand with the styling of the PlayStation 5. So on the black headband part, there is little triangles, crosses, circles, and squares, which is kind of cool. And I will say the build quality feels pretty darn good. I'm not hearing any creaks and moans and groans in the plastic or anything like that. You have an L and an R on here. And then I do like the head strap design. Instead of having to adjust head size with some kind of a ratchet or pulling mechanism, it auto adjusts to your head, similar to the Razer Nari Ultimates over here, which have pretty much been my dailies for about 2.5-3 years. I use these on PS4 and PC as well. Ear cups feel phenomenally soft. There's some kind of memory foam in there, very squishy. However, it is a sealed off pleather or leatherette material, which means ventilation might not be the greatest, but we will obviously test that here. These do have dual microphones built on board. One is to pick up your voice, and the other one is for noise canceling, basically to listen to your room, fan noise, etc., and cut out any of that through the microphone. So there are 0 controls over here on the right ear cup. However, on the left, you have your power slider, which I do like. It's a slider, not a button, so it's much less easy to hit and turn your headset off, and it's also very far away from the rest of the controls, which I definitely do like. There's a 3.5mm headphone jack, so if you want to use these wired to a phone or VR or something like that, you can. There's your USB charge port. You have your mic mute button right here, which is actually awesome. It clicks in and out and then gives you a little orange indicator. when you are muted, so that's kind of nice. So it's not a slider or a wheel, it's just a up and down button, which I don't really have a preference there. I think that's a good design though. And then you have monitoring on and off, so if you want mic monitoring, you can turn that on. I personally will most likely leave that off. I'll test it out for you guys, but I'm not a huge fan of mic monitoring. And then up here, this is your adjustment for in-game and chat balance. These feel very interesting, so they're not uncomfortable by any means, certainly not the most comfortable headset I've ever felt. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that these, not the drivers themselves, but the actual housing that wraps around your ears isn't necessarily very large. So for if you have some big old ears, they might not really be over the ear headphones. They might be on the ear headphones. It might be kind of pushing up against your ear there. But because the ear cups are so soft, it's not going to make a huge difference. I will say I really do like that auto-adjusting head strap there. They feel pretty good, but I can definitely tell, just like the Microsoft headset, because this is completely sealed off and it has no cooling gel or perforated material or any kind of ventilation, that these are probably going to make my ears pretty warm pretty quickly, but they do feel pretty good. Pretty comfortable though. The clamping force isn't very aggressive, however they do stay on your head pretty well. Not that you really move around a lot while you're gaming, you're pretty much just stationary looking at the screen. Nice, nice. Alright, let's get these hooked up to the PS5 and see what kind of controllability we have in the software suite. Alrighty guys, over here in the living room now, getting this paired up is extremely easy. You're going to plug in the dongle, which by the way, the instruction manual does show it plugging into a laptop / PC or a PS5. So if this dongle does work with both platforms, that's awesome. So you plug it into the front of your PS5, turn on the headset, and it should pair right up. Now for the purpose of this review, I'm just plugging it into the USB port in the front. However, since it's a rather good sized dongle, I would probably use one of the USB ports on the back so it's not seen, kind of for two reasons. One, kind of uglying up the aesthetics of your PS5, and most importantly, if you have any pets or kids, or just, you know, drunk friends coming over, it's kind of a, not a trip hazard, but it could, if somebody bumps into it, it would probably snap it off or cause some damage to your console, and you don't want that. So now we're going to turn on the Pulse 3D headset. All right, as you see up there now, we have a controller with 100% battery life, and we have a headset with a 100% battery life as well. Awesome, so when you adjust the volume, it's reflected on screen. Very, very nice. Let's see what else it reflects on screen. Okay, so no indication on screen when your mic monitoring is on or off. It'd be nice if they had like a little microphone icon and an M next to it or something that would be crossed out when you turn that on and off, but that's okay. You get a little audible chime. When you adjust the game and chat blend, you also get a slider for that as well, which is awesome, so you can tell when you're at perfect 50-50 blend there. Okay, when you do mute the microphone, not only do you get a beep in the headset, and if you're looking at it, you get that little orange bar, but you also get an indication on screen too, which I do greatly like and appreciate that. So these headphones are specifically designed to utilize what's called the Tempest audio engine, which is the new audio engine that's only inside of the PS5. So if you're going to use these on something like PC or PS4, they're going to sound about the same as any $100 headset. However, it takes a lot to genuinely impress me when it comes to tech gear. I don't hype up products or anything like that, and it takes a lot to genuinely blow my tits off and to put an extra 2 inches on my peen. And I gotta say, I tested these with Miles Morales and with Astro's Playroom. The fact that there isn't an audio application on the PS5 or on the phone to adjust things like equalizer, at first I was a little bit turned off by that. I was like, well, this thing isn't going to be optimized at all. It's going to have either muddy flat mids, it's going to have less than ideal treble, or it's going to have, overpowering bass or not enough bass. Not the case. So if you are playing a PS5 specific game that does take advantage of the Tempest audio engine, for example, Astro's Playroom, or Miles Morales, I was literally pretty shocked. Now, I think I misspoke earlier in the unboxing section. These are actually 40mm drivers, not 50, which is relatively small compared to most premium headphones out there, or mid-range to flagship headphones that generally sport 50mm drivers or higher. But this was super impressive, the amount of 7.1 virtual surround that you get. I have tested headphones with 80mm drivers that sport either Dolby Atmos or THX Spatial or some type of artificial 7.1 or 5.1 surround. These gave me more of an immersive feeling where I felt like I was in the game world. Like in Astro's Playroom, you hear the wind whistling through the trees, you hear crackles of leaves. In Miles Morales, you literally feel like you're gonna get herpes from being downtown in New York. It is insane. You feel like you're in that world. It really is impressive. I didn't really expect this experience from a $100 pair of headphones. I feel like with all this praise, I need to caveat this by saying this is completely not a sponsored video or anything. I paid for these with my hard-earned shekels or ducats for my day job. So yeah, I'm gonna go plug this into the PC, and if these work on the PC, for any PS5 and PC owner, this would be like a literal must pick up. Let me go test that real quick. Alrighty guys, so it does absolutely work with Windows 10. You just plug the dongle into the front, takes about 5 to 8 seconds. You'll see the LED flash on the front, then go solid, getting a notification in Windows that you are now paired with this device. And again, that is a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz connection. It's not Bluetooth, which is fantastic. That means you can actually game PC with this. Tried out Apex Legends. I did get very good situational awareness, very good 2.1 stereo spread. However, you're not going to get that Tempest audio engine virtual surround like you get on exclusive PS5 games. This is with the onboard microphone, or microphones. Technically, one's recording your voice, the other one's canceling out noise from like your PC and your ceiling fan, stuff like that. I'm going to listen back to this clip and then give my opinions. But I will say, most headsets sub like $200, $250 require you to buy an adapter to use on PC if they are not specifically for PC and whatever platform, whatever console, PS4, Switch, PS5, Xbox Series. So that's awesome that a $100 headset can easily work on 2 platforms and work good. Pretty boys, so I listened back to that audio clip. It actually sounded pretty decent. It is a little bit tinny, almost sounds like I'm underwater or something like that, but it's not terrible. In fact, it is good enough to where you could stream directly off the console if this is all you have and you don't obviously want to connect the boom arm to your PS5 or anything like that with a condenser mic. But I've got to say, I am savagely impressed with this headset. I didn't really, have very high expectations going into this because of a couple factors. One, it's a $100 pair of headphones, which, don't get me wrong, $100 isn't a small amount of money. I mean, granted, that's subjective, but I personally don't find $100 to be a small chunk of change. However, you don't really start getting into like very, very premium flagship headphones until about the $250 to $300 range if you're talking about SteelSeries and Astro and stuff like that. But the fact that these work on PC, they sound literally insane on the PS5, and I don't use that lightly. For having 40mm drivers and being $100, I did not expect to have that kind of virtual surround experience. I literally was taken aback 2 paces. I was like, what the I had to do a double take and be like, what headphones are these here? Are these some Audio-Technica studio monitors? No, I'm maybe not on that level. Obviously, it's not going to sound like a $500 headphones or anything like that, but Jesus Christ. Now, I did test it out with a PS4 title on the PS5, and it literally just sounded like a 2.1 stereo headset. It didn't have that same immersion, but when you are playing a dedicated proprietary exclusive to PS5, for example, like Miles Morales or Astro's Playroom or something like that, that does utilize the Tempest audio engine, these specifically highlight that feature. It works in conjunction perfectly due to the encoding that happens inside of that dongle and sends the audio waves to these headphones, and it sounds insane. Comfort-wise, I was also pleasantly surprised because I was expecting, since it has this sealed-off leatherette material, that it would be much like the Microsoft headset I just tested, where my ears got sweaty after about 5 minutes and stayed hot for the entirety of my session. Not the case. These were actually freakishly comfortable, which is fucking awesome. There was like 0 clamping force on my temples. The ear cups felt really good, and most importantly, my ears didn't get hot, which is a big problem with me. I got some hot holes, boys. I got some hot holes here, so that did not sound good at all. But what does sound good is these headphones. So here's my verdict. If you have a PlayStation 5 and a PC, I would strongly recommend a pickup, because even if these aren't your primary on PC, if your primary PC headphones battery dies, or you break them or lose them, or something happens, you lose the dongle for them, or God knows whatever, you have a solid backup. I played Apex with these on my PC. They sounded good. And if you have a PS5, I mean, because these are made by Sony to work specifically with their console, they do the job quite well. And also, something very important that I forgot to mention prior is that you can plug into the bottom of the DualSense 5 controller. There is 1 pro and 3 cons to doing that, so i.e., I do not recommend it strongly. So first of all, the pro to that is that you're not using the battery of the headphones. If they die, you can plug them into the DualSense 5 and you will still get sound through them. You will still be able to use them through the power of the DualSense 5. Now the downsides. 1, the DualSense 5 battery life is already not great, and since it's also powering the headphones, it's going to be even shorter. 2, and this is a big one, ladies. Take a good look at it. It's a big old girthy one. That's a huge bitch! The surround sound that I've been hyping up this whole time, the Tempest audio engine, does not work when you are wired. It is specifically when the headset is powered on and you're connected through that dongle, because that dongle does all the encoding from the PS5. and then sends that audio signal, that surround sound, to your headset. So when you're plugged into your bottom of your DualSense controller, you're not going to get that same experience. It's going to sound just like a subpar $100 pair of headphones. And 3, obviously you have a wire, which is a downside because wireless is the shit. I mean, if you're not using Bluetooth, you're using a 2.4 gigahertz connection, there's virtually not noticeable lag or latency or delay. It's like being wired, except you don't have a wire connected, so that's a downside. So that is going to do it, guys. I do strongly recommend to pick up on these bad boys. They are linked down there in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button does help it to get seen by more people, so this information can reach and assist them as well, which in turn helps me grow my little channel, which I greatly do appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I do a lot of peripheral reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, as well as tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, and a lot of news in the gaming community and industry. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.